Let's begin with this or talk about calling each other niggers. We should be offended by our last names. A lot of African Americans still bear the names of the white men who colonized and enslaved them. Isn't it time we change this? The problem is not what others call you, it is what you call yourself. Go to this website and see. Those who have really and are fully waking up are in the process of permanently removing colonial and enslavement names. At the same time, they have or are activating their basic two ancestral totems, relearning an ancestral language, enjoying their true history, and daily connecting with others of the like mind. Some are investing and sharing resources and knowledge with mainly dominant humans. Therefore, anyone who teaches Ubuntu Consciousness and continues to be proud of colonial names and titles is in the same category of black Christians, black Jews, and black Muslims, all traitors supporting the systems that destroy our own race. This preacher by LM Tumizulo of Committee, Hebrew Ethics, Maarifado, Hem, sharing the truth of what's in a name. We know that millions have been miseducated and follow Romeo and Juliet's theme of what's in a name. What we call a rose by any other name should smell as sweet. This was said by Juliet concerning a Romeo, who was a Montague, their son, family enemy. But we insist that you cannot truly be pro-black, authentic African, Bantu, or even a Muntu if you are proud and have not changed that colonial as well as slavery names. We give a number of reasons why names matter most. The number one reason why your names matters most is that there is power in your name. That is why during slavery and colonialism they went all the way to change your name and the names of places, names of various important places and countries. We also shall share something that a lot of us have forgotten, especially us melanin dominant humans, so-called niggers, black or brown, that we must rename ourselves with a personal secret name. Very, very critical and very, very important. This name should not be revealed to anybody. It should be known by you alone and many other divinities, not a human being walking on the earth. Lastly, we will also prove why anyone today who says they know the name of the Creator, call him Jesus, Allah, God, Yahweh, YHVH, are simply deluded. The number two reason is that your name is connected to practical education that awakens your potential. Millions are being miseducated deliberately so that they cannot have knowledge of their true history. Otherwise, if they show you this, the ones they haven't destroyed, they might as well give you a mirror. They've given you the power, know thyself. Bantus are a spiritual race, therefore names are keys in applying that kind of knowledge and particularly self-knowledge. Therefore, today it is necessary to learn who and what they are and ask, what is my real name? Your real name awakens the divine spark via your ancestral connection. Third reason why your name matters most is that they are your identity. In order to become fully human, your natural inborn potential must be adjusted, brought forth, or brought out. Identity is the consciousness of that true nature. Know thyself. This book by Naim Akbar explains why this is very, very important. Your name either narrows down, destroys your identity, or may be used to rouse unnecessary struggles between your ego, your sense of individual identity, political, economic, and technological socialization of a system that naturally hates you. Therefore, the true self or the soul, the self that transcends the limitations of the earthly body, is lulled to sleep throughout your entire life on earth if you have no identity or name that arouses your identity. Fourth reason why your name matters. To be human, however, implies consciousness or awareness of who and what we are. Only very little of our conduct can be accounted for by pre-established behaviors or instincts or philosophies. Humans must know that they are human in order to engage in human conduct. No civilized groups of people leave this process to chance. Naim Akbar again in his book, Know Thyself. True teaching is not an accumulation of knowledge. It is an awakening of consciousness which goes through successive stages. Hence, you must rename yourself and name yourself and stick to the correct and appropriate identity. This is a Kemetic proverb that teaches us these principles. How do you fend off these concepts and grow spiritually? You must rename yourself twice. Here's the question. If you could rename yourself, what would your new name be? Why do you name yourself twice? Why should you name yourself twice? First, a public name that identifies your race. The earliest step in this educational process is selecting a name. The name comes to symbolize the much broader reality of identity. It is with the name that we become identified among the human community, and within the name is the full range of dimensions of our identity. But you should also have a secret spiritual name you call yourself and initiate to the divinities. No other human being must know this last name. We shall explain and demonstrate why. Why you were renamed. In Judeo-Christian and Islamic societies, many of the names given us are from their religious tradition and represent the character they want the newcomer to develop. That is why the ethnicity of the slaves and their descendants have changed so much over the years, becoming softer and nicer. All other people remain the same ethnically, but the slaves and their descendants have changed and did not remain the same even to this day. We must remember that there is power in names, positive and negative. That's why they give you baptismal name, George, Thomas, Matthew, Luke, Jacob, and all such names. Here's the reason. From this novel, after Orinoco and Inoida are bought by slave owners, their names are changed to Caesar and Clemene. The conflict arises when names are changed in this novel. This gives the expression of dehumanization of slavery used by their owners. It represents how slave owners have marked them as property and no longer treat them as human. What is the value of a name? It's the power in any name. The name that a person carries connects to their divine souls, the bar part of our being, the divine spark, superconscious, higher self, the bar, Ku, Shechem, and the range division of the ninefold soul. Identity comes out of the power of a name when it activates the bar. Many names activate different aspects of the environment in which you are immersed in. Therefore, we must accept that a name is very, very critical, or names are critical. They give the identity that describes you today. Our names and identities describe who we are currently, how much knowledge and how much power we are willing to have or exercise, who we follow, as well as where we go in the afterlife. Black people drop the religion of Christianity because of slavery, but then go and convert to Islam, which enslaved them as well. What a travesty of identity and knowledge. The way that a people think and consequently how they act is a product of what they know. The knowledge that a people receive is a consequence of their education. These are the keys that Naim Akbar shows. Psyche in the word psychology means soul. It is, as Akbar 1985 pointed out, was derived from the ancient African saku, which meant understanding illumination, the eye, the soul of being. Even Gerald Massey, 1974, in his book, says that. Hence, psychology should be the study of the human spirit, or the study of human illumination or understanding. Mankind in Western psychology is, however, viewed as an object and not a spiritual force. You are a spiritual force, a divine spark, and a spirit. Again, Dr. Woodson observes, starting after the Civil War, the opponents of freedom and social justice decided to work out a program which would enslave the Negro's mind in as much as the freedom of the body had to be conceded. So they surrendered the body and say, okay, you can have your body, but they wanted the mind. So we have this book, The Miseducation of the Negro. It's a program. Anyone who has no identity, who still carries a slave or colonized name, has been miseducated, is a product of a program. You are not free. It was well understood that if by teaching of history the white man could be further assured of his superiority, and the Negro could be made to feel that he had always been a failure, and that the subjection of his will to some other race is necessary, the freedom of him. So you see, that's clear. That's what Dr. Woodson Carter teaches. Then, in addition to the title, The Miseducation of the Negro, we want to subtitle it The Misnaming of the Negro. In conclusion, therefore, our ancestors' divinities, so-called gods, are a fundamental reality inside melanin-dominant humans. They are essential to life and afterlife of every melanin-dominant human. Therefore, names are a critical communication tool that is important in the hierarchy of order, power, and the divine connection. For example, the divine power Ra had 72 names describing his attributes and personality, yet he carried a hidden single name. A pharaoh owned 5 names, each of which symbolized a manifestation of his or her power. How are names used in power? Once you know this name, this secret name that we have spoken about, you have ability to call on them to perform your wishes. Every level of power and control that the god could exert or has exerted is contained in this single name that exists as their personal name, a secret. The lessons of the goddess Isusu and Ra defines the essence of the law of names, the knowledge that a true name allows one to affect another person or being magically, philosophically, with wisdom, and calling them out. It is stated that knowing someone or something's true name gives the person who knows that true name power over them. That is why the real name of the single creator is unknown. Miseducation, Christianity, Islam, deliberate identity confusion, lack of totems, all emanating from colonial and enslavement forces are some of the reasons why millions cannot be truly pro-black, melanin-dominant humans, authentic African, Bantu, or even Muntu. They have been conditioned to be proud of Christian and Islamic tattoos, names, and culture. You are still imprisoned in a mental jail by that colonial and enslaving tattoo or name. Mental slavery is the worst form of slavery. It gives you the illusion of freedom, makes you trust, love, and defend your oppressor while making an enemy of those who are trying to free you or open your eyes. Change that name today and rename yourself to identify with your ancestry and divinity asleep inside you. To really change your name and rediscover your totem, send us an email on join@marifado.com. Hamiti Buru Ethics Marifado, this preacher by LM Dumizulu, sharing our story, a history of greatness, our identity, modern challenges, ancient solution. Thank you. Have a good day.